Hey, how's it going? I thought I would record the work that I'm doing here to this Robo-War. I just got it today. Bought it from an operator down in Italy, and it is really a mess. But he was saying that it wouldn't even power up. And I figured before I got too deep into fixing things one at a time, I'd start to record how it was when I got it and then try to work through the problems one by one and see where we go. So basically right now we've got the game is in a track mode and the displays do work. So it's good news there. I checked the board over. There was no corrosion on the board. Not a whole lot of hacking going on. I didn't see much in the way of hacking on the board. I did find that there's a track sound. Yeah, I did find that virtually every fuse in the machine was the wrong size and or burned out. They had 8 amp fuses in a spot for a 1/2 amp fuse. They had 2 amp fuses in the spot for an 8 amp fuse. So once I put the correct fuses in there and checked the mains wiring and obvious things to make sure this thing wasn't going to catch fire in my house, I did turn it on, and no magic smoke. So where we're at right now is that it does go into a track mode, and the operator said that he couldn't get it to do anything beyond that. So sorry, I had to the Gottlieb System 80s don't have a free play setting, so I had to get one of the coins, one of the tokens actually, that they were using to credit the machine up. So now that so one thing I did was I checked the voltages here on the power supply. Up here at the top, you've got the power supply and 5-volt regulator there. So you got 5 and 12 volts here, and the 5 volts was a little bit high. I believe this potentiometer up here needs to be cleaned, and so I'll get to that, but I did check the 5 volts before I actually had this connector disconnected, and that's one of the first things I did. So we have a solid 5 volts. When I ran the diagnosis, it did kick out an error for the ROM here. Not quite sure about that. These ROMs, I guess they normally have a sticker over them, but when the machine arrived, all 3 of them were missing. I put pieces of tape over the top because I thought that I had seen somewhere that that's how those EEPROMs get erased. I think I saw that on John's Arcade YouTube channel. Maybe that's not actually an issue, but I just took precaution anyway because there's a little glass window on those EEPROMs. So let's put a credit in the machine. So we get sound. So it definitely is working, and it will fire up. But once I fired it up, it would not go past the introductory music. Didn't seem like any of the coils are operating. So we get that, and when I had the balls here in the trough, you can see, I had to adjust some switches down here as well. There were a couple switches that were closed. I had to go in and clean them. So with both of the balls in the trough, the out-hole solenoid does not fire, so the balls never make it up. So I need to figure that out, why that's happening. But if I manually move the balls up here, I get one ball up there, nothing, right? Take the second ball. See, this micro switch here is actually sensing the second ball, not the first ball. So what I did was I said, well, what if the solenoid was working? It would kick that ball up, right? So I kicked the ball up, and the game comes to life, and that solenoid fires. So now the ball is in the trot, or in the shooter lane, and there we go. Pop bumpers are working. Flippers do work. Flippers work. Obviously the machine is a mess. The play field is really in bad shape. Slingshots work. Pop bumpers do work. Now I believe the lights are supposed to flash and go in order here, so that's not working. But all three of the pop bumpers do work. The flashers in the back are not coming on, but all the switches appear to work. Even the flashers here do operate. The ramp does go up and down. Now if I throw the ball up the ramp here, it gets stuck in the out hole, or it gets stuck here, and it never actually gets kicked back out. I think that's supposed to happen, I'm not sure. But then it kind of gets into a repetitive noise, and I have to take the ball out of there by hand. So need to figure that all out. The drop targets here, I dropped them down by hand. You can see they're not coming back up, and they're supposed to, so not sure what's happening there. Those solenoids are not working. Solenoid for the ramp does work, and like I said, this solenoid here is not working. So a couple more things to work out. The out lane appears to work. All these switches tested. I did the switch test, and every switch on the playfield seems to work. So it's pretty ugly, but it does have some life in it. And you know, listen to the sound. The best part about this game is the music. And I'm not sure about this light, if that's supposed to be blinking. I have to look into that. Now I believe it's telling me to shoot under here. Okay, there goes the multi-ball. So see, the ball did not kick out. Figure that out. And it goes back to single ball. Kind of doing its own thing here. So, something's locked on. In any case, I'll shut it off, or else it'll just keep going. But you get the idea. It is working. The attract mode does work, and yeah, I'll just have to start working through each problem one by one, and eventually we'll get there. And then once I get it functioning, then we're gonna deal with this disaster of a playfield. I'll give you an idea of what I found inside the machine. This is what I found in the machine. Look at this ball. Unbelievable. So this thing was really, really abused, and it's got the Mylar here covering the center portion of the artwork, but everywhere else is destroyed. And even where some of this is left over, the paint is just flaking and falling off. Actually, the paint is all laying in the bottom of the machine. You can see it's all down there. So this is going to be quite a job. There are no replacement playfields available for this game that I can find. So what am I going to do? I'm either going to be painting these worn areas, which I think should be possible. I mean, you'll be able to tell, but or I have a graphic that I got from a guy on Pinside, and possibly might be able to actually print an overlay and then put it down, and maybe a playfield protector on top of that. So that's probably going to be the first option, but I have to see. Let's see what's possible. But anyway, figured I'd share this, the condition that it's in. The cabinet itself, it's in really good shape, I think. You know, it's scuffed up, but it doesn't look like there's any water damage. And overall, the boards look pretty good, which is It's the reason I bought this. I mean, these don't come up very often, and for the price I paid for this thing, I figured it was worthwhile, and I'll try to save it. And yeah, I'll try to record some videos as I do it. So be a long-term project, but stay with me on the channel here, and you'll see the work as it proceeds. So that's it. That's a Gottlieb Robo-War, 1988. I think there are only about 2,000 of them made, and a lot of them were exported. So this one was in Germany, and then eventually made its way to Italy, where I snagged it and brought it back to Germany, and I'm taking it back to the US when I retire from the military. So that's where it'll end up. Anyway, thanks for watching.